Hello, I'm teacher Karina, and I'm here to share some information with you about the CPE Speaking Exam. The criteria for this exam, when it comes to the speaking test, are the following: grammatical resource, lexical resource, discourse management, pronunciation, and interactive communication.
The Cambridge English Proficiency Exam is the highest level English exam of the Cambridge English Suite. Passing this exam represents a significant personal achievement because it indicates that you have a fully operational command of the language. The speaking exam lasts 16 minutes and is conducted by 2 examiners with 2 or 3 candidates. One examiner conducts the interview and gives a global impression mark, whilst the other examiner sits to the side and gives more detailed marks. The 5 elements upon which
candidates are assessed on 5 different criteria, and these are grammatical resource, lexical resource, discourse management, pronunciation, and interactive communication. And these marks are given by the assessor, who says nothing throughout the entire exam. They're also given a global mark by the interlocutor, and this mark is based on the interlocutor's overall impression of the entire exam and not on one particular area. Candidates can achieve an adequate mark in grammatical resource by having control of a wide range of grammatical structures. However, in order to get a good mark under grammatical resource, they really need to have a good control of a wide range of grammatical structures and be able to use them with ease.
Well, I would say that picture E is the less of an adventure, actually.
Yeah.
Because, well, it could, I mean, if people want to see a new city they have never seen before, it can be an adventure, actually, because seeing new things and stuff.
And more, I think we are told, don't get too involved if there's a dangerous situation, which I think didn't used to be the case so much.
Because language changes all the time, and there are new words being invented and old words that are being forgotten. And it is, for me, for example, it makes me laugh if I read an old book and there are words in it which I don't know. But that have been trendy at some point in time.
If we destroy the world we live in now, they will have to suffer. So it's selfish to destroy or to make the world worse.
Yeah.
In this area, for candidates to get an adequate mark, they need to be able to use a range of appropriate vocabulary to talk about unfamiliar and abstract topics. However, to get a good mark, they need to be able to use a wide range of appropriate vocabulary and to use it flexibly and to use it with ease, so it sounds natural. And to do this, they can use collocations and colloquial language if appropriate.
Some elements of the culture as it is today are worth being preserved for future generations, such as buildings. There are such things as World Heritage sites, for example.
Talking about places of national beauty, I think it goes hand in hand with the previous 2.
I think certainly it's a natural instinct to protect the ones you love.
And I think it's of paramount importance to recycle it or even get rid of it. I'm really impressed by European countries in the way they're switching back to canvas bags.
Discourse management assesses how candidates can organise extended stretches of language. The language needs to be relevant and the contributions need to be varied. They also need to use a range of discourse markers and have very little hesitation in order to get an adequate mark. However, to get a good mark, they need to not just have varied and relevant contributions, they also need to be able to talk about detail where appropriate. They also need to be able to use hesitation for effect, rather than they've just forgotten the words. So some examples of good discourse management would be using rhetorical questions, would be using repetition to make a point, and to organise your language so that you go from the general to the specific.
So I guess it is important to preserve culture, but also it is important to let culture change.
Do you think it's important for people to learn to speak another language?
Definitely. It's really important. I mean, of course, it's important to speak English at the moment, but it's also important to learn all sorts of different languages, to understand cultures, to understand how other people think, and just a general understanding of the world.
I think all of them symbolize adventure in some kind of way, and I think that's appealing to young adults because it's it's the part in life when you're actually about to explore your limits and the possibilities that you have in life.
But it's really difficult to make people realize how important it is to change these bad things, because I mean, money is important to them. They don't give it away.
At this level, candidates are expected to be completely intelligible and to be able to use intonation, stress and individual sounds appropriately. However, what distinguishes the good candidate from the adequate candidate is the ability to vary their stress and intonation in order to convey different meanings. Also remember that even at the top level, candidates may still have features of their first language, and that's absolutely fine.
So I've been competing for many years in both sports, and I absolutely love it.
It would be fun to drive, but it's not good for the world, and you should kind of see that you do something for nature and not for your own pleasure.
Okay.
So taking the bus.
Thank you.
I think it's hard to trust charities today. That's a big problem, unfortunately.
I think in principle I agree as well that you should do everything to protect the ones you love. But if it's at the expense of somebody else's life, then that might be a tricky situation.
Interactive communication assesses the candidate's ability to hold a conversation, to be able to initiate and respond, to listen to one another, and to be able to widen the scope of the conversation where appropriate. They also need to be able to negotiate an outcome to the task they've been given. A good candidate will also be sensitive to their partner's needs and be able to support their partner wherever appropriate, so that they can actually finish the task.
Depends on what you mean by high technology and what you want to protect. So we have to define first what we want to protect.
Protect, okay.
Let's say the environment.
Okay, the environment, how to protect the environment.
That might be a tricky situation.
What if they're threatening your life?
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
I would agree that it's probably over the top to go with a knife against like verbal offense, but if you are threatened with a knife, then probably it's not that over the top anymore.
Yes, no, I think certainly it's a natural instinct to protect the ones you love.
They don't give it away just so.
And today there is also a lot of charities as well. There's so much. It's a big range of different kinds of charities.
Yeah, and all of these charities, they try to get these people. So these people are like kind of getting attacked every day by different charities, so they think like, whoa, why are there so many charities?
Yeah.
Actually,
I think it's hard to trust charities today.
I've never read the terms and conditions, so I don't know what I'm actually approving of.
I was more about talking about selling your personal data and sharing it with other companies, for example. So if you go on a search engine and they recommend you certain things to buy, have you ever wondered why they did that?
Yeah, that's true. They have that on many websites because they can see your search history.